has to do with African wealth. Africa is very wealthy, industrially, agriculturally. But the wealth can only be realized when Africa unites. That's the first point. It's real simple. All these are really quite simple. Gold, diamonds, oil, bauxite, uranium, zinc, cobalt, chrome, natural gas, you name it. Titanium, most of our chemical minerals, germanium, lithium, phosphates, bauxite. I mean, the continent is just incredible wealth. But the wealth is not evenly distributed amongst those 54 states. In some cases, you got slithers of a nation with nothing but groundnuts, like the Gambia. But the same Gambia, who are through wars, were part of a larger geopolitical entity before slave trade, before colonialism. But the British just created that little sliver to prevent the French from having access to the ocean, the Gambia River. That's the only reason it was created that way. I think 1884, 1885, when people sat in Berlin with a map of Africa on the wall, no Africans allowed, and just carved to the continent with no appreciation of what was on the ground. So again, the wealth, and many of these mineral resources are critical. It's critical to the development. In other words, the world can't do without it. Like platinum. You don't make cars without platinum. And about 90% of the platinum is in Africa, South Africa in particular. The one I like also is coltan in the southeast Congo. You don't make cell phones, you don't make laptops without a coltan. It has a chemical name, but and if you Google coltan abundance in Congo, you'll see that relationship. All the women that's being raped in the Congo, you'll see the relationship. So the continent is just all over. It's just wealthy. But also agriculturally, which is important. The hunger in the world will be solved in Africa. Africa has 632 million hectares of arable land. Now the continent is mostly arid, semi-arid, you should know. Right? The Sahara is you can get to the United States in the Sahara. That's how big the Sahara Desert is. It's huge. It keeps expanding because of agriculture practices, destruction of the forest. And then Southwest Africa is largely arid. But it's a big continent. It's 11.5 million square miles. So there's 632 million hectares, and a hectare is 2.5 acres. But we use less than a third of it. We use about 179 million hectares. So you have all this arable land that's not being used. So this agriculture is just rich land. And let me just make a regress a bit and tell you guys you should start buying some land. I meant to mention that to you this morning, Michael. Please don't. My wife and I bought some land in 2003 for $1,500 per plot. Wow. It's $20,000 now. It's $20,000. We bought 8 plots of land. Radio crop. I won't lie to you. 2003. And it's worth $20,000 a plot. So if you don't want it, then at least you let your children, let your grandchildren have it. All these tuitions you're paying, you let it sit for 10 years and see it. It's just appreciated. Their continent is different. And people are grabbing land like something. So if I can regress, please. Africa. Not coming from Africa. Because others are buying it. So the wealth, hope that's a simple point. Continent has to unite. We got, if you total the amount of oil, we have as much oil as Saudi Arabia, leading oil producer in the world. But it's in different countries. Once Africa unites, we have as much oil as Saudi Arabia. We have twice the amount of natural gas in Qatar. Qatar is a major producer of natural gas. Now, pooling resources, that's the second point. In order to really engage in large-scale production, you need a lot of money. You just can't come small. Something with small capital. To build trucks and cars and ships and planes and bridges, these things that we need, it requires large amounts of capital. And these little tiny countries, which were created small to be dependent just don't have enough capital. But United Africa has the capital. In fact, if you total the reserves, foreign reserves of African banks, they would come to more than $500 billion, or $510 billion. Again, this is a simple point. It's just like if you and I, we try to do something individually, we can't match what we can do collectively if we all pool our resources. It's the same concept. Now, these things sound remarkable, and you say, well, why won't we? Well, the leaders, it's not going to benefit them as such. They live in large, and they don't feel the urgency of this. That's why the youth, the workers, students have to. But that's the second point. The idea here is to reduce Africa's dependency on these loans. The IMF, World Bank loans, which come with all kinds of conditionalities, which are not conducive to development. If you study these conditionalities, you see they're inimical to development. They, in fact, undermine development. That's a whole other discussion we can have. I think you probably are familiar with that. IMF, World Bank conditionalities. One of the things that they require is that we can't protect. Don't protect your infant industries, or you won't get the loans. And they use institutions like WTO, World Trade Organization. They themselves are always protected. We'll come to that in a minute. And that's just one of the conditionalities. Another one, don't subsidize your farmers, your manufacturers, your health. Don't subsidize, because you got to be able to pay back the loan. It's a very high interest rate. They'll give Ghana a great report card, they're paying back the loan. The masses could be suffering. They don't care. They want to make sure you're paying back the loan. You can't pay back the loan if you're going to subsidize your farmers. Meanwhile, everybody is subsidizing that in developing countries. So, we want to break Africa free of dependency on foreign loans. There's no recipe for development. If it was a recipe for development, Africa would have been developed a long time ago. And why we're so wealthy, what do we look like begging for money? What sense does it make?